Hello and welcome back to my channel. Firstly, let me explain today. We're filming on a different device. We're actually filming on Joe's MacBook instead of my iPad. So if the quality is better or worse, I was going to say I apologise. I don't apologise if it's better. I do apologise if it's worse. It's just a try out today to see how it goes. I'll go directly to my results for this week. And my result this morning, after my 2 A's, 2 B's, my usual 11 sins, my result is a £1 loss. So that takes me to the very bottom of my target weight at 10 stone 4. I'm very happy with that, very comfortable with that, and I will tell you why. On Sunday, as I explained on last week's vlog, we were going out for lunch because it was Richard's birthday on Monday. So we went to our usual lovely carvery place, which is, a good hour and 20 minutes drive from home. And I had the carvery. I had 3 meats and vegetables and roast potatoes and half a Yorkshire pudding because they're quite large, and stuffing. Now, stuffing is one of my trigger foods, but I thought I could handle it. And I did handle it reasonably well. I had a little more than I would normally have, but I was okay. It was within sins. The whole meal was fine. So I achieved a meal out, which I thoroughly enjoyed, within plan. Where I fell short was, usually, because I choose not to have a dessert, I would take with me in the car 2 hi-fi bars. And on the hour and 20-minute journey home, at some point I would eat my hi-fi bars. I forgot. I wasn't thinking and planning and putting myself first in this situation and guarding myself against old habits, so I forgot to take my hi-fi bars. Coming home in the car, and probably only 10 minutes after leaving the restaurant, there was this craving within me, and I don't know whether it comes from my stomach, whether it comes from my head, or whether it comes from my entire body, but this craving was very much, I want sugar. Now, I felt this all the way home. When I got home, I still had this I want sugar craving. I never thought about my hi-fi bars, so I didn't get them out of the cupboard, didn't eat them. To combat the craving and get it out of my head, I decided to strip out the entire bathroom and give it a good clean. Because when you've got your hands in bleach and cleaning solutions and you've got the shower curtains in the washer and everything else going really well for you, the last thing you're going to do is think about putting your hands in your mouth. So I cleaned the bathroom from top to bottom. Nice job, looked great. And I still had that craving for sugar. Still didn't put it together with the hi-fi bars because ordinarily I would eat my hi-fi bars when I'm out walking. So, came back into the lounge and Joe went out for a long bike ride, and the minute he'd gone out the door, it was like this little devil on my shoulder. You need some chocolate. That's what would fix you. You need some chocolate. So I went into my sin bin and I took out a 6 sin Crunchie, which I ate in 3 bites. And then I went back to my sin bin and found 3 more, which I ate. And I think it probably took me 5 minutes to eat all 4. It was like insanity. I can't tell you how much of my old behaviour just shot back into my head. So within 5 minutes, I had eaten 24 sins worth of Crunchie. Now, it stopped there. The craving for sugar went away, thank God. I still never thought about the hi-fi bars. And I didn't tell Joe when he came back. In fact, I didn't tell Joe until the next morning when we got up in the morning and the immediate feeling in my head was, you screwed up a bit yesterday. What are you going to do about it? So my head went into Operation Starvation mode. Let's all go on a diet, the old feeling, stinking thinking. And I thought, if I cut my sins to 5 a day, I'm covered, because that's reducing them by 6 a day. So if I do that Monday to Thursday, that's 4 Crunchies at 6 sins each. How stupid.
You even considered doing 2 days at 0 sins.
Well, yeah, I did. I even considered doing 2 days at 0 sins to compensate. In my head, I was thinking, cut out an A, cut out a B. You know, the real old stinking thinking about dieting. And I don't do that anymore. I really try not to do that anymore. Anyway, I was absolutely bouncing on Monday morning. I had enough energy for a football team and we would have won. I was bouncing with energy because of all this meat and stuff that I'd eaten on Sunday, and I suppose because of that massive injection of sugar. I went out like I could have run a marathon on Monday morning. So we set off to walk, and before we got into the city, I told Joe what I'd done. I thought it's no good lying by omission, because if I don't tell Joe, then the likelihood is I'm not going to tell you. And then I'm deceiving myself. You know, let's pretend it never happened. And it's no good for me today to pretend it didn't happen. I have to own it. So that's what I did. We were walking into Nottingham and I told Joe what I'd done. And he said, okay, so what are you going to do about it? So I shared with him this stupid idea of having no sins and then reducing my sins to 5 and what have you. And he just said, Mum, you know that's insanity. What you need to do is use the energy that you've got from yesterday. So, in other words, walk off those excess calories and then just return to normal from today. So he then suggested that we go hill walking in the park. Now the park is a beautiful estate behind Nottingham Castle, and it's just full of the most gorgeous houses you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it really is. It's where the rich lived in days gone by, and where the people who've got lovely lifestyles and enjoy their homes and everything. And it's just a pleasure to walk through there, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's lovely. And so we decided to go walking in the park. Now you start at our side of Nottingham and you can walk right up through the park, climbing continually until you get onto the Derby side of Nottingham. So there are some parts of the park which are, I would say, 1 in 10, 1 in 12 hills. And we took the steepest route right through the park. And it got the old heartbeat up. I think I was up to about 108, 110 beats a minute by the top of some of the hills, according to my Fitbit. And we walked right through, and Joe said, we'll go out through the tunnel. And I said, the tunnel? Now, take into account, I've lived in Nottingham since 1975, so 41 years. I didn't even know there was a tunnel. And I used to work within a quarter of a mile of this place. So Joe said, I'll show you. So we walked through a tunnel, and then you come out into what they call the rotunda. And there to the right was a flight of steps. And Joe said, we can either continue through the tunnel or we can go up this flight of steps. So I thought, well, I'm up for a flight of steps. He didn't tell me at that point there were 93 steps to the top. But you know, I fair ran up those steps. And at the top, I wasn't even slightly breathless. That really pleases me today, because living in a bungalow, I rarely climb stairs. When I used to go to my brother's, and he's got 15 steps up to his bathroom, I used to be huffing and puffing before I got halfway up. I really was that bad. I really used to struggle with things like climbing stairs. So 93 steps to the top, and then a good walk through Nottingham, and some shopping on the way, of course. And I felt so much better for it. And my head had cleared, and the stinking thinking and the stupid ideas had all blown away with the wind. So I'm going to ask Joe now to tell us my mileage for the week. Starting with Monday, on my surplus energy, I walked
12.95 miles.
12.95 miles. And how many steps was that, Joe?
31,527.
And I did that easily. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I'm just showing you where you can get to if you lose weight and start to walk. And you know, I started my walking at like 100 yards.
I think that was the most you've ever walked in your life.
That was the most I've ever done in a day. So I've got to top that at some point. On Tuesday I did.
On Tuesday you did 6.4 miles.
That was because I was out in the morning. And how many steps was that?
That was 15,546 steps. Wednesday, 9.77 miles, 23,775 steps.
Thursday?
Thursday, 8.86 miles with 21,501 steps. Friday, 11.16 miles, 27,136 steps.
Now Friday, yeah, that was yesterday. We went back to the park.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We went back to the park and we did some more hills, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did different hills this time, but we did a couple of the same.
And we also did the whole of the tunnel this time, which was interesting. Now, we only walked 5 days this week because we were busy all last weekend. So in 5 days, my total is...
49 miles, 49.14 miles and 119,485 steps.
And I can honestly say I enjoyed every step. So where some of you enjoy going to the gym or going cycling or aerobics or whatever you're really into these days, whatever floats your boat, because I think for every one of us there is a form of exercise out there that can become enjoyable. And I'm the person who tried everything and didn't think I liked exercise in any way, shape or form. Now I love my walking and love my hula hooping.
Share the difference in how you felt between Monday and Friday doing the hills though.
Oh yeah, on Monday, because I was bouncing with energy from that excess of food, felt great. On Friday, some of those hills were a bloody struggle. I got up them, and my heart rate wasn't any higher, but my legs didn't want to go on some of them, did they, John? I'll tell you what kept me going, girls. You might understand this.
I think that surprised you.
It did. There was a lot of building work going on in the park, a lot of hunky builders around. And there am I in my shorts thinking, there is no way I am going to embarrass myself in front of these builders. No wolf whistles, though. Although they tell me that's not politically correct, I'd still love one. Anyway, it was fun. We had a good week. One thing I did mention too, I was out with an elderly friend on Tuesday for coffee. And I was telling her about my diving into the crunches. And I said, I don't really know why I did that. And she said, Jane, if you were my age, you would remember a time when we always finished dinner with a liqueur. And the reason we did that wasn't because we were all boozers, but it was because that sugar fix, and she'd been a nurse all her life, so she understands these things, that sugar fix at the end of a high-fat, high-salt meal is like a full stop. It ends it, it balances it, it stops cravings. So I think I just have to accept that on meals like that, when I'm going to have much higher fat content than I would normally have in a meal, I need to take my hi-fi bars for the full stop. It's either that or buy a bottle of cherry brandy. Okay. Group was fabulous this morning. Not quite as high a number because it's August and a lot of people are on holiday, but I would still say a good room full of people. 3 or 4 certificates handed out, some excellent weight losses again, and lots of inspiration, motivation and encouragement, which is what we get every week. She never, ever lets us down, does Naomi? She's there for us all the time. Fabulous. One thing Naomi spoke about at the start of her talk this morning was page 6 in our book. It says at the top here. Go on, Jeff, I've forgotten it. I'm supposed to memorise this.
The 2 golden rules to a healthy diet are...
a wide variety of foods.
Yeah.
And everything in moderation.
Yeah.
I'm looking over there because Joe's over here. Now, I really believe that's true. A wide variety of foods and everything in moderation. That, for me, says it doesn't mean Slim and Will chips with every meal. It doesn't mean bread with every meal. These are the things I used to do. I used to be a bugger for carbs. If I didn't have chips or bread and butter with every meal, there was something wrong on this planet. If I couldn't put whatever I was eating between 2 slices of bread, there was something wrong on this planet. I don't do that anymore, but I do eat things in moderation now, and I do eat a wide variety of foods. I still have my favourites. I'm still vegetable crazy, but my vegetables would probably be 12 to 18 different veg in a week, whereas in the old days I ate peas, occasionally a carrot, very rarely anything else. And you know, I smile sometimes when I talk to people who think baked beans are vegetables. I know that beans count towards one of your 5 a day, but I think you've got to be stretching it to call a baked bean a vegetable. They're okay, they're good for you, aren't they? They're protein. I'm not knocking baked beans because I do eat them. But I also eat lots of other kinds of beans. So I'm grateful today, and I had never noticed that in the book. Not that I would notice it because I'm not a visual person, but I just thought that's just a little key, isn't it? Everything in moderation. And that also, when we're struggling and wanting to pile our plates with pasta or chips or rice or, in my case, asparagus and sugar snap peas because I can't get enough of them, things like that, it's still about moderation. So I never eat just a big plate of vegetables. I always have protein with it. And so I'm not that totally veggie. But yeah, that's just a thing. So if you're struggling, just open page 6 of your book. My word for the week is sacrifices. Looking back over the years to that girl who was the Māori girl who stamped her foot and said, I want it, so I'm going to have it. And that applied to every walk of my life. If I wanted it, I had it. Always. Yeah, looking back on those days and then looking at the person I am today, I realise, to be fair to myself, I have made a lot of sacrifices. A lot of my behaviours have had to change. They were the behaviours that were keeping me fat or making me fatter, and a lot of them have gone. I don't do very many meals out. I am really, 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 and I emphasise that, really choosy about where I eat out. And I'll do my homework if I'm going out, and I'll make sure that I can get food on plan. And I know nowadays people talk about, you can go into Nando's and you can have your chicken and your spicy rice and things like that. And that's fabulous and that's on plan. But that's not the kind of food I choose to eat. So, yes, if I was in the city centre and there was no option, I could go to Nando's, I could go to Pizza Express and have a salad and things like that. But when you get to my age, and I know a lot of you are a lot younger than me, I think I'm at the stage in life where I was going to say I'm getting selfish, but I don't think that's the right word. I'm getting extra choosy. I've got more years behind me than I've got in front of me, so I'm going to make damn sure that now I've got a healthy body, I'm going to enjoy what's in front of me. So I'm very choosy about where I eat out, very selective, that's probably a better word. And I'm very conscious of the things I've, for want of a better word, sacrificed. I used to love to go out for breakfast. There are a couple of places around here, including a Toby Carvery, where you can, as much as it's one of these, eat as much as you want for $4.95, or Chinese, eat as much as you want for £10, or Indian, eat as much as you want for $8.99. All of those places are off my radar now because they're not good places for me to eat. But I used to thoroughly enjoy them. I have sacrificed them in favour of being slim, being able to walk into shops and buy clothes. We had a new shop opened in our town this week called Oliver Bonus. I don't know if probably the people who come from the south of the country would know it. And Joe and I just strolled in to have a nosy, as you do, and he saw this top. I've got it on. And he said, Mum, that's you, because he knows the kind of thing I like. And he picked it up and he went, oh, they've got an 8, they've got a 10. This one will fit you, and passed me the 10. He's getting good at this, I went into the changing room, he didn't. I went into the changing room, put it on, fits like a glove, size 10. Now, I keep saying on here, I am not a size 10. But hang on a minute, I'm not a size 10. I think I'm much more of a 14 because, as I've said before, I'm a 36 bust, so I can't be a size 10. But if any other girl had walked into Oliver Bonus this week and picked up this top, which is a size 10, and bought it, I would have said she's a size 10 because that top fits her. So I think I've got to do a bit of work there because I've got clothes in my wardrobe from a size 10 in skirts and jeans and tops to size 12 jeans I don't think I've got anything any bigger than that. I've got tops that are a size 10 through to the top I was wearing yesterday. And Joe said to me yesterday, you look really nice in that top. And I said, oh, I've had it a couple of years. And then I said, do you know what? I think this top's a size 18. And Joe said, don't be daft. So I got him to look at the label. The top I was wearing yesterday, which fit me, just like this top fits me, is a size 18. Now, there is no sense to that, is there? None at all. But if I can wear a size 10 top, and if you're a size 10 and you can wear a size 10 top, then we're size 10 in that top. It still makes my head a bit wobbly, but still.
I just think you're a bit more than a size. Women hang on that what clothes size they are a bit too much, and they define themselves by it. It's the same way you can define yourself by the number on the scale. You walk around like thinking you've got it displayed above your head, but you don't.
So you're saying we're more than that?
Yeah, you've got to think of yourself as more than that, more than just a number.
More than a dress size. So today I am more than a dress size. Yeah, so I've sacrificed things like eating out at fast food places and cheap food places in favour of wearing smaller size clothes and feeling healthy. I'm quite comfortable with that. I've sacrificed lots of behaviours. I used to be a great one for sweets and chocolates. But as I've said before, never chocolate by the bar, always chocolate by the 4 or 5 bars or the 2 family size bars. Now I thought I was safe to have those crunchies in my sin bin, and they've been in there for 5 or 6 weeks. But it's made me rethink it. So the new strategy is I only buy 1 bar at a time. I don't need more than 1 bar at a time. And okay, you can get a multi-pack, can't you, for a lot less money. But I'm worth more than that. So in future, the sacrifice is don't pay £1 for 4 crunchies when they're on offer for that. Or I don't know what price this 9 small crunchies was. But don't pay that and think you're saving money. Actually sacrifice those few pennies and buy 1 crunchie for 79p or 89p or whatever it costs. Because I am worth more than saving a few pennies. I sacrifice smoking for the sake of my health, and it ties in very much with my weight loss, because when I was on the weight loss journey and I'd actually got down to about 14 stone from 22 stone, I was still smoking, but I was smoking more. So by then I was up to 20 Marlboro a day easily. And I used to substitute food with fags. I thought I was clever to have next to no breakfast, but a couple of Marlboro and a black coffee. I thought that was clever. I used to wheeze like an old chimney. Then I recognise now, looking back on it, where I went from that place, which was, I was a Marlboro smoker who thoroughly enjoyed Marlboro, but I would sacrifice the Marlboro to get Joe to roll me, and what kind of tobacco did you use? Amberleaf. He used to roll me a cigarette with his Amberleaf tobacco, and we used to have on the side in the kitchen a box of menthol filters, because when I was hungry, if I had a couple of roll-ups with menthol filters in, I felt like I'd had something to eat because they were minty. Now I tried smoking Consulate, they weren't minty enough, so the Amberleaf with the menthol filters did it for me. I tell you, if you could have got chocolate flavoured filters, I'd have probably done that. But I had to sit there dragging down to the bottom of my lungs on this fag, just so I felt like I'd been sucking mints. And I am a bit of a one for mints. I can eat Polos by the packet and chewy mints and soft mints and Trebor mints. That's something else I've had to lay down. Another sacrifice. But you see, it's the kind of behaviour that I'm prone to. So I actually got to a stage just over 2 years ago where I knew I had to sacrifice the fags because they were stopping me having a healthy relationship with food. You know, I could not live on cigarettes as a food replacement. I was fooling myself. So I let the fags go. I've sacrificed other things things. I've sacrificed other behaviours, other substances, friends, habits, lots of things. And I'm sure if most of you look back over your journey, you know, we all do make sacrifices. But I can hold my hands up and say, hand on heart, the things that I've sacrificed and let go of were not things that were doing me any good, were not things that were benefiting me. So although they still, in a strange way, they still feel like sacrifices, they've all enabled me to move forward in my weight loss journey. And I feel so much healthier and so much freer from letting go of them. I used to be a great one for junk food. Anything high fat, high salt, high sugar, any mass-produced shop-bought cakes, any puddings, you know, like steamed puddings that came in tins, high steamed puddings, or steamed puddings you could put in the microwave, rice pudding, anything of that ilk. High sugar, high fat. And it was like my drug of choice. I've sacrificed all of those. Because if I want to stay today at 10 stone 4 or thereabouts, I can't mess with that kind of food anymore. I can't do fast food, I can't do junk food, I can't do sandwiches the way I used to, because I can't eat a sandwich, or the old me couldn't. The old me would have half a loaf of sandwiches. I can't do toast, because the old me would have had to have white toast and it would have had to have lashings of Lurpak on it. So today, again, sacrifices. But I'm not losing out. It's win-win. There isn't one of those things that I've let go of that would have actually been any good to me. Now, I'm not saying everybody should stop eating bread. I'm not saying everybody should stop having steamed puddings or rice pudding or toast. Your trigger foods, your danger foods, your food as a drug of choice will all be different to mine. It's a very personal journey, and we find our own way around these things. Because for some people who can have a slice or 2 slices of wholemeal bread and thoroughly enjoy it as part of their breakfast, that's great. I just know I can't do that. I mean, I was talking to my mum on the phone the other day and I said, what did you have for your breakfast? And she said 2 poached eggs on a slice of wholemeal toast, no butter. She's 84, bless her, and she's much more sensible about what she eats than I ever was. I couldn't do that. I would have had 2 poached eggs and made them go over 4 slices of toast with lashings and lashings, and I mean lashings, of Lurpak. So today, because it's not safe or it's not wise for me to go there, then they go into my box with the locked lid of things I no longer do, things I no longer choose to do. So that's it. My word for the week is sacrifices, but they're not negative things for me today, they're positives. Just another strategy in my arsenal. Let it go. I don't need it anymore. My life used to depend on food. Now, food is a fuel that I enjoy, but my life doesn't depend on it anymore. Having said that, look at my behaviour last Sunday. 4 crunches, 4 6-in crunches. The devil on my shoulder is still there, and he is never going to go away. So, it gave me a rude awakening. It didn't do any damage. I lost £1 pound this week. But I could so easily have gone the other way and thought, right, Jane, you've blown it, carry on blowing it. Or, right, Jane, you've blown it, go into Operation Starvation, and totally messed up my week. So what I'm saying here is to anybody else who has messed up, for want of a better word, that's not a criticism. It's 1 meal out of a week. It's like Naomi always says to us, if somebody gave you a bunch of 21 red roses and 1 died, would you throw the whole bunch away? No, you wouldn't. So I'm happy with what I did this week. It wasn't hard work. It just took a bit of thinking. And the thinking was, carry on as normal. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be stupid about this. Just carry on as normal. And I think this week I got the result I deserve. So, a couple of products of the week. First one, and I'm sure lots of you will have seen this. This is wheat bran. I'm not sure how much it is. Can you remember, Joe?
It wasn't super expensive, maybe like £2.
Yeah, something like that. £1.52 probably. What I'm going to try with this week is, you know, I do my overnight Weetabix. So this week I'm going to try 60 grams of that in lieu of 2 Weetabix, just to see what the texture's like. And then if I like it, I might drop to 30 grams of this and half a healthy extra B of linseed. Linseed is 25 grams for a healthy extra B. It's really, really good for us. I think, again, with the omega-3s, isn't it? But the thing about linseed, and that's something that Joe told me, or Joe showed me because he eats it, you can use it for thickening. It's very, very good for thickening yogurts. If you've got a particularly, I think like Asda's fat-free natural yogurt, it's quite thin and runny, and I don't really like thin, runny yogurt. So linseed is something you really ought to mill it rather than just eat it as a seed, because otherwise it passes straight through you. So it's good for fibre in that regard. But if you want more of the health benefits from it, and you want the benefits of using it to thicken things, mill it. Just stick it through your NutriBullet or whatever processor you use. But I was thinking to myself today, you know, quite often I'll do soups or stews or casseroles or things in my slow cooker, and I'm always looking for something to thicken them with, because we know we have to sin corn flour and flour. And sometimes I resent spending sins on something like that. But what I'm going to try is using some milled linseed and sinning that to, because at least then there's some health benefit to it. It's not just a thickener like corn flour would be. So when I do get around to doing that, I will report back on it. But as I say, I'm going to try 60 grams of this in my overnight Weetabix, and then maybe drop it to 30 grams and try it with half a healthy extra B of linseed. I've been watching a young lady on YouTube, and she vlogs as Mrs. Mummy Wright. She's had an amazing loss, a tremendous loss on the Slimming World, and she's lovely. She's got 2 gorgeous little boys, and she's just, I don't know, she inspires me. I watch her and I think, I want to try that. You know, she puts healthy seeds on her breakfast. She bakes muffins and things from Fopaholics recipe. Is it Fopaholic? Yeah, sorry if I got your name wrong. From her recipes, but then she'll put fruit on and sweeten quark, and then scatter a few healthy seeds on and sin 1 sin's worth of seeds. And I thought, why have I never thought about that? What a brilliant idea. And she's just lovely, you know, cooking up veg and stuff, and has an allotment. And if you don't watch her already, give her a look, because she is smashing. So, yes, hi. I think your name's Christina. Not 100% sure. But Mrs. Mummy Wright. W-R-I-G-H-T, I think. Yeah, so that's that. My other product this week is Heinz Creations. Remind me, Joe?
Lentil curry.
Lentil curry. I think it says has mild curry and chilli.
Do you want me to read it?
I'll get him to read it. You've seen the term? This is supposed to be 2 portions, but I think they're having a joke. On the plate picture, apparently, it's shown with rice, and Joe says it looks a really generous portion. I think it must just be a very small plate. Half of this tin is not a lot for an adult, is it? I would have the full tin.
I'd have the whole tin.
You'd have the whole tin. It's sin-free. I think it's about £1.20 in the supermarkets, but I'll get Joe to read what it says on the tin. Okay.
It says it's lentils with Indian spices, tomato and chilli.
Yeah. So there's something different, and I know that sometimes it's nice, even if you're not a vegetarian, to have a vegetarian meal. I mean, I've eaten meat once this week. I've said before, I'm not a massive meat eater. I've been vegetarian probably 85% of this week, but that's because that suits my taste. I would never say you have to go that way, but sometimes it's just nice. If you are a genuine meat eater, you know, you enjoy your meat, you enjoy your fish, whatever, just to try something different. And for me, that, with some rice and some veg on the side, or even, you know, on a jacket potato and some broccoli on the side, or some salad, I would find that a really tasty filling meal. But I like chickpea dal. You know, that's another one.
I think these are like a rebrand of the ones that they had a while ago. I think they've because they did like tagine chickpeas, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they
We've had
still do those.
before.
They're nice,
Yeah.
and they're simple.
But they're part of this Heinz Creations branding.
Yeah.
They've
So it's
just
worth having a
rebranded
look.
it.
Sometimes
They've
the
got
right.
vegetable chili beans, a lentil curry, a tagine chickpeas, and a Mexican beans.
Right. I'm not sure that they're all sin-free, but I think the tagine chickpeas are sin-free. You can check this out for yourself.
Yeah, double check.
But they're all, you know, tasty alternatives when sometimes we can get a bit bored. Talking about rebranding, a lovely lady contacted me in the week and told me about the stewed steak in Lidl. I know she said she didn't use it, and I don't use it, but it was very gracious of her to let me know, because I could have easily missed this. And I think people who don't stay to group may miss it. But there is a tin of stewed steak in Lidl, which is called Manor something. Forgive me, my memory's not so good these days. We'll say Manor Farm, Manor Hall, Manor something. And it was free on Slimming World. Well, Lidl have rebranded it, and the new manufacturers are not putting such lean meat in it, and that has gone from being sin-free to being 14 and a half sins. So be aware, because lots of these changes happen every week. And if we miss it, it's not, oh, it used to be free, so it doesn't matter, I'll still count it as free. It's got different ingredients, and you need to sin it. Anyway, that's enough for me for 1 week. Let's see how this recording on the MacBook goes, and we'll be back next week. Bless you all, have a great week. Thank you for all your communications in the different ways, shapes and forms. And remember, it works if you work it, it can't if you don't. Bye.